Hello fellow traders, this video is going to be a review of my trade from yesterday, June 17th, 2026, Pacific Standard Time during the Asia session. This is a micro gold contract, and as you can see we are trending down, and we had just closed the market today, Thursday, June 16th. Let's go down to the 1 hour time frame. This displacement candle is from yesterday New York session at 11 a.m. with the FOMC news, and it traded lower and slight retrace up before market closed. 3 p.m. market open, market retraced into the fair value gap above the equilibrium of the fair value gap and above the 50% of the sell-off range and the 0.618 Fibonacci level. Let me show you the annotations. There you go. So this was a area of interest for myself because of those overlapping areas as well as the high time frame resistance trend line. Let's go down to the 5-minute. On the 5-minute, you can see that 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Asia session opened, formed the 15-minute opening range, broke out above, and traded into my area of interest. And upon that wick into those 3 levels of my interest, you can see on the 1-minute time frame, on why I entered. This was my entry. 1-minute engulfing candle, a very shallow inverse fair value gap, and I entered on the retest of this level here. You can see, and that was at 6:05 p.m. I held a trade into slight drawdown, break even, profit, break even, profit, drawdown. You can imagine it was a very frustrating hold. And by the time it was 1 hour into the trade, past 7 p.m., I was pretty sure that my stop loss was going to hit for 10 points at this level here. Let me just go up a time frame for a better view. Either way, I held. There was no reason or structural reason to justify a break even during this price movement. So I held, and after 7:15, finally got some follow through. But it came back to my entry. Very minimal drawdown again, back into profit, back into drawdown, and finally at 10:35, that's more than 4 hours into the trade, finally got some follow through. I was initially targeting 3R, so right about there, but I knew that when price reached the high of the Asia opening range, this could be a potential support level, and you could see that the candle continued to form lower wicks. We did have this bearish 5-minute fair value gap, but however, I was already 4+ hours into the trade and mentally exhausted and mentally taxed at this point, and I really wanted to close the trade and go to sleep so I could prepare for today's or Thursday's New York session. I did exit the trade for 2R, just around there. I believe it was this red candle right here. So that was a 4.5 hour hold for 2R. And of course, for the purpose of collecting data and journaling, This is a very important move here, all the way down until New York close. Look at that, how much I missed out. That's an extra 107 points, and I would have had to held for an extra 12 hours, which possibly unrealistic, especially given that I'm trading one contract. And I probably would have trailed my stop somewhere here and got stopped out. Either way, this was good data that I could collect for the future when I could get profitable and scale. Let's jump over to Edge operating system. This is a trader's operating system that I am developing. It is not public. I am just collecting data for myself so far. Here's the trade Wednesday at 6:05 p.m. Pacific time. Micro gold short, held it for 5 hours and 22 minutes. Location where I entered from, which time frame, change in state of delivery, and entry type, CISD retest. Confluence, inverse fair value gap on the 1 minute, and engulfing candle. Net profit 2R or 20 points. Maximum drawdown was 8 points, as you saw earlier when it wicked above my entry. And the maximum opportunity that was available for me before the price came back to my entry. Although I would have trailed and gotten stopped out for still a lot more profit. Let's go into this trade and look at the notes. These sections are automatically generated once I import the trade from TopStep. And here's the in-trade notes, what I was targeting, and just how the market was behaving as I was in the trade. And at 10:05 p.m. you could see that I was very frustrated. It was 4 hours into the trade and I was only 4 points in profit. And FML back at BE. Little after that, 10:50 p.m. finally got followed through, all caps. Position went to 2R, and that's when I reduced risk to -4 points above the swing high. And I was holding for 3R below the Asia opening range high. And 11:30 p.m. I decided to exit the trade when it came back to 2R because Nasdaq and S&P at that point were printing a 5-minute bullish engulfing candle. Post trade, this was written today morning during the New York session after I examined what happened overnight. New York sold. Had I held longer throughout New York, I could have gotten up to 121 points, but it would have taken 18.5 hours of holding. So this is very valuable data for later when I could scale, and I definitely use this data to determine whether a trade is worth holding or for how long, and make trading decisions based on data. So that's it for today and for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will definitely be coming back to post more reviews and backtests. Thank you.